So, this is Fu's story, okay? And it's kind of a shitty story, but I'm gonna tell the story anyways. So, here it goes, I guess. So, there was this Asian, not too tall but short. He encounters this Asian girl online. He started to get to know her better, but then one day, the Asian guy got into an accident. A car accident. Anyways, so, they called a first line from the call log, which was the Asian girl, they hospital ambulance people. So, she was really upset when she heard about the accident on the phone. So she cried, pleading to God to not let him die. But she had been working all summer, so she had enough money to go to his place. She took a plane ticket there. After she took the plane, it took her 2 hours to get to his place and 1 hour to find a hospital. Then she visited him the first time in sight. She held his hand and cried. After a week later, he was released from the hospital. Then Asian guy started to show her around the city. Then the Asian guy showed his apartment to her. Then he showed him to his bed. Then they accidentally tripped or slid onto the bed. And then she was on top of him. They looked at each other and kissed. After a month passed, she was pregnant and she was happy to have a child in her hands. Then the Asian guy is like, GG stress. So they decided to live together in a modern house. So after a couple of months of pregnancy, the girl was getting sicker. Each day had passed, causing her to throw up. So the Asian guy took her to the hospital and asked, will she be okay? She didn't have enough blood. She was thinking about the future. She had anemia. What? Anemia? What the fuck? Anyways, then the Asian guy was upset when he heard about that. After that day, the Asian guy went off to his part-time job in a convenience store. He suddenly got a call from the hospital, so he immediately picked it up and went to the hospital. There was traffic. He didn't have enough time. So he got out of the car and started running his ass off to the hospital. He parkoured through obstacles and hurt himself, but he didn't give up. He kept running like the injury was unaffected to him. He finally got to the hospital. She was having anxiety, thinking about negative thoughts in her head. So he came up right beside her to calm her down and making her feel more comfortable about the happy things they were going to do in the future. What the fuck's that supposed to mean? Tomorrow was the day she was going to give birth. So the day had passed, and tomorrow began. In the operation room, the Asian guy was right there beside her, telling her to push, encouraging her. So the baby came out. It was a girl. But after giving birth, the Asian girl wasn't breathing. So they performed CPR. After the first pump, nothing happened. Then the second, and the third. And then after the fourth time, she started breathing again. So then, they were taken to the checkup center, but then she was still unconscious. When she woke up, she was drowsy, and the Asian guy cried. They gave the baby to her, and they decided the name Yuri.